So interesting. I'm not sure if there are feathers, or I don't know what this is.
Are you describing your body, or?
I'm moving through, it feels like feathers.
Okay.
So interesting, because I feel like I'm in a sea of feathers. But they're not, I don't know what this is. It's funny because I'm feeling like they're like tickling my nose.
Well, other than feathers, do you notice anything else around you?
Wing flapping, lots of flapping wings, like this, like it's almost sounding like a constant purr, but they're wings that are flapping, like giant wings. Giant angel wings.
Oh, wow. Are these your wings?
Well, one pair are mine. One pair are mine. And then there are many, many angels.
So you are an angelic being?
Yes.
Wonderful. And there are other angels around you?
So many. Legions of angels.
Wow. And what's going on? This legion of angels.
We're learning to move information. Learning to move, fly information.
Okay. Where would you say that you, what realm are you in?
It's definitely a heavenly realm.
Okay.
There's so much light. There's so much light.
And what's the purpose of these formations that you're learning how to do?
The purpose of them is to move together as one. There are many times when our jobs call for us to be aligned as one, to move energy or to answer requests. And so we are taught to move in formation like an army. And then we have our individual stations as well, but it's really easy to, move on your own. It's different, not difficult, just different to move in formation with so many angels.
Right. Well, let's go into some of your the jobs that you do or the tasks that you're assigned to. That sounds very interesting. But can you give us more of an example of what you may be asked to do and how you would do it?
Mm-hmm. Or we're all assigned to someone, and a person has many that are assigned to them at birth, but we're all assigned to someone. So if you've been assigned to a person, then whatever is called for, but you have to sort of stay at a distance until they call on you. It's almost like an as need basis. So many people don't request or don't know. And so then, we're there to just assist in a way that doesn't obstruct what they're choosing to do.
Okay. So these angels, are they different than guides and guardians? Or are they the guides and guardians?
They can be guides and guardians. They can be different than, but they usually are. And there's all different tiers or levels or hierarchy of angels. And that's just based on how many times the angelic being has decided to be or remain an angelic being, because we all have the choice to move into other realms and other experiences. But when we're in formation, it's usually for a larger cause or experience, or being called upon by many for assistance in a situation, or it could be the health of someone, or the health or the of a place, or it could be in times of war. It could be for any different thing. For many different things. We all have specific stations. There are angels of war. There are angels that are stationed over the sciences, or angels for households, angels for, children or mothers or schools. There's angels for all, and there's so many angels. It's really amazing.
So many different facets.
So many different facets.
But they pretty much stick with, like, if there's an angel that is assigned to a human to help guide them through, that's all they do, or do they do other things?
That's their primary for that person, but they can do many things, because, as angels, we can be so many places at once. Again, that the time and space is irrelevant to us. It doesn't exist.
Right.
So there are so many different jobs, but yes, being assigned to a person is one of them, and then there are a multitude of jobs as well.
Oh, okay. So then as
each person does get their one angel, though, that is with them all the time. There are 1 to 3 angels that are just with them all the time.
Wow, okay. Oh, that's wonderful to know. So, as an angel, who is it that you're in charge of, or you're watching over?
At this juncture, it is political strategy and war.
Political strategy and war. So is this in our current time period, or is this I understand you don't as far as a human being could fathom or understand, what time period in this life as an angel are you assisting with?
It seems like it's World War One.
Okay. And are you helping a particular, the strategists as far as the generals are concerned, and trying to win this war, or what exactly what do you do as far as a strategist?
My goal and my job is to make sure that it sounds so strange, but it's to make sure that things are done specifically on the battlefield. So I watch over and I take note and understand who's doing what and why they've done it, and it's almost just like keeping score. My job is to watch over and to make sure that in the rules of war, that the rules are being adhered to clearly. And when the rules are not being followed clearly, it's my job to move things so that they are.
Okay. Well, all right. So is this also, are you also just observing, I guess, duality or, yes, negative polarization and what the humans do under...
Exactly.
Okay.
Under these circumstances.
Right. Okay, so you're reporting back, and this is kind of a learning experience for this human experience. Okay, experiment as well. Okay, wow. Okay, what else is significant with what you do, or?
What's interesting is what people ask for when they are communicating with their angels or angels in general, and how they communicate in a way that can be desperate and earnest, and then sometimes the communication is it's out of disbelief, and so it's interesting how people ask for things, if they are sincere, or I don't know. It's fascinating to me.
I see. Are you allowed to alter outcomes? I mean, we all know we have free will, but do you have that ability if you feel that it serves the greater good, or you just
Not
strictly
really.
observe?
I observe, but I can also offer options. I can offer options. Whether those options are taken, it's, I don't oversee that, but I can offer options. And it's interesting too, because many times if someone is calling for an angel to do something or show something or provide something, and that thing is offered or that experience is offered, many times that person doesn't even take it.
I see.
So I can offer things or provide assistance, but I don't do it as an intervention or because there is free will. So Yeah, but when asked, I provide the option or the opportunity or the experience.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, just curious. How does it feel to see human beings in that time period just kill themselves and each other, and what is that? What is your outlook on this? You're there to observe, and this is just an experience. But is it difficult in any way to see this going on?
It feels wasteful, and it feels also like a means to an end. Like, it feels like this is what needs to happen for an expansion of awareness and consciousness. So there are multiple understandings that can happen, but there's always the compassion. As a angel, the overriding emotion, the only emotion, is unconditional love. And to sort of give that, have the compassion, look over the situation with unconditional love for all sides, and understand the role that everyone is playing, even when there's violence and hardship and torture and all sorts of negative actions. But even thinking of them as negative action is sort of limiting, considering the movement that comes from it. It's like an earthquake, relieving tension. It's necessary.
Okay. Well said. Necessary for the growth of an expansion of consciousness.
Yes. Yeah.
So that we know not to do this again.
Exactly. Although some things are repeated,
Yes.
because there are perceived positive outcomes for a few. And those few have the ability to make many feel that there's a positive outcome for many, when in actuality the positive outcome is the movement. Even if the many that follow along with the few and are disenfranchised or disheartened or, worse, killed or whatever, it does ultimately always move the collective along.
Right. Provides a valuable experience.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So let's move on from this time to the next significant time as an angel. And what's happening now?
Oh, I feel like a pressure on my head, on my on my right temple. It's like there's an explosion of some sort. So it feels like a battle of heaven and hell. Like, it really feels like wow. And I feel like I've been struck.
So can an angel of God be mortally wounded?
I don't feel like I'm mortally wounded. I feel like I am definitely damaged somehow. But it doesn't feel permanent. And it feels like I can heal it immediately. Like there's a healing energy that happens
Okay.
to heal it. But it takes the time in which it takes to heal it, which is not much time at all. Can be like a blink, but it's a distraction from darkness pouring in.
Okay, what is this war about? What's going on who are you battling?
Darkness.
Okay.
It feels like just dark energies. There was at one point feeling like more light energy on Earth than dark energy. And at this point that I'm noticing, it's balanced. There is definitely a balance of dark and light energy. And so there was that perceived war of light over dark. And this that I'm seeing feels very much like, it's so funny, feels very much like the 70s and the 80s.
Okay. So I understand this is a so before there was more dark than there was light, and now we've come to a balance at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very good. What has happened to increase the light in the planet?
More star seeds arriving.
Let's see.
More other beings from other galaxies coming to Earth and shifting the vibration of Earth. And it's almost as if the other beings are working in tandem. We're all working together to create more light, but the other beings hold a different frequency that sort of ignites it, anything that comes near it, whereas we're not able to shift free will. The galactic beings don't operate under the same rules that we do, and so that just their essence shifts energy around them. So there's a deeper inclination to be a light being when you're around these galactic beings. They ignite that light within others.
Okay, so you're referring to the star seeds that have come in that originally galactic beings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's a little bit of different, is it a free will thing or it's just an energetic thing?
It's both. It's a free will and it's an energetic thing.
Okay. So what's the difference with their free will versus a typical human non-star seed free will?
Well, they don't operate under the same. I mean, they're a typical human has free will but doesn't realize that they have it. Whereas a star seed has the free will and recognizes that they have it. It becomes sort of intrigued by the options.
So starseed pretty much has the intuition to know what they're doing,
And they get stronger and stronger as they grow and they learn and they investigate about themselves and what's possible energetically.
right. It seems like some starseeds know immediately as soon as they
Yes.
come to an awareness of this construct at a young age, and others seem to be activated later on.
Yep.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. I think a lot of us kind of already knew it, but it's always wonderful to have confirmation. Okay. So what else is going on that's significant? So we're at this point between the 70s and 80s where we've met that balance point.
Yeah. And so that balance expanded. It expanded in the 90s and the 2000s so far. But what's happening is a understanding more and more that old science hasn't moved in the same way that it could have, because it's been held back by other industries. And so technology will shift in really wonderful ways, in that frequencies will be the medicine of the future.
Okay. So my understanding is that many technologies have been suppressed as far as a dark agenda, and we could be way further along. I mean, we actually are, but it's suppressed. So as time moves forward, once we hit some sort of a point where there's so much light that it just can't be held back anymore, that's when we'll see a lot of these technologies come forward and to help, not only help the planet, but like you say, vibrational mankind or
absolutely humanity. It's happening now. It's happening now, but there will be more. This is just a tiny little, not even a drop in the bucket.
Right. So if you were to give a percentage of, here we are in 2019 versus, like, say, the 70s where you said we were balanced, what is the tipping point as far as where we're at right now, as far as the light and the dark? I mean, what kind of percentage will we be looking at?
I would say that we sort of go back and forth at the 75%, 75 to 80% light. That 20 to 25% is sort of a through line through the energy fields, which bleeds out, and because light workers are in clusters and not dispersed evenly throughout, there are cold spots.
Okay. Oh yes, I see. So there's small pockets around the planet that are a little more negatively polarized.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's pretty high. We definitely, you would think we're about ready to pop.
Exactly. Yeah, but a lot is happening with that light. A lot has to be regenerated and rejuvenated with that light. So it's hard at work. But it's interesting that as much light as it is, it hasn't reached its full strength.
Right. I understand. So even though it's a high percentage, we're not completely at our full potential.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's really exciting. Okay. And anything else that we could learn about what's going to happen in the next few years? I mean, obviously, so many people are waiting for the event and waiting for our Ascension. And there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't know about and we can't know about because for obvious reasons.
Well, many are fully, will fully ascend in the very near future, and it may stay hidden or secret for a little while until even more ascend, and that ascension will strengthen that light. So even if the light ratio is at 75%, whereas maybe the dark ratio is 25%, but it's operating at 1,000% of its strength, the light ratio will increase in strength, and more and more and more people will be spontaneously activated in a really beautiful way. Okay. And that duality will cease to be. And time-wise, I don't know, because time is not.
Right.
It's an awareness of the humans. So from my perspective, it's not far off at all.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of talk that 2020 is going to be a very big year, as far as raising vibrations. And,
absolutely.
And not to mention that things just can't be hidden anymore.
No.
The truth is coming out literally in droves at this point, and I think there's a lot more floodgates that are going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is true.
Yeah, I've also been told that when the pulse or the flash that eradicates duality, things like anger and fear and those type of negative emotions, it just won't even be an option. I mean, it won't even come into our thought process.
There'll be curiosity. Not anger, not fear, but curiosity, interest, concern, love, joy, and connection, understanding, and not even understanding, because understanding connotes hierarchy, but a collective, feels like respect,
right.
Feels like honor and respect, right. And love.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. Understanding what you said, just being able to look at someone and understanding whatever they're going through, and instead of assuming something negative, there's a loving understanding and a willingness to help. Wonderful. That's so great. Okay. Is there anything else that we should know about this life as an angel? And anything other information that either I didn't ask about this or that we need to know?
Well, I mean, it's definitely it's so rewarding, and it's wonderful, and it's an interesting thing, because the lack of we don't have a lot of emotion, because we are because we're even, like, it's so the connection that we feel with humans, that there's a curiosity about, passion, about why humans get so impassioned about, little tiny things, and allow themselves to get so out of sorts about things that are so silly and ridiculous. And so it feels good in a way to be in that in the angelic form away from typical emotions. It feels you're unencumbered by the emotions. There's empathy and love and this sort of what is the word? The word is escaping me because it's just a sort of, not even a, it's like you're aware of everything and yet not feeling any of it personally. So I enjoy that feeling of being removed from emotion. And it feels incredible to be of service. The entire role of an angel is to be of service.
Right. Interesting thing you brought up, because I know a lot of us could wish that we could just turn the volume down on some of our emotions, because it certainly can be very overwhelming. But I completely understand what you're saying. Okay. All right. So, do I have permission to speak with Wendy's higher self?
Yes.
I feel like I've been speaking with you the whole time.